child killer John Cooey. He was found guilty of killing 9-year-old Jessica Lunsford after kidnapping her back in 2005. And now the jury must decide if Cooey gets life or death. Let's bring in our legal panel once again. Jonna Spilborn is a criminal defense attorney and Paul Callan is a former prosecutor. And we thank you both for sticking around and joining us.
Thank you.
Paul, I'm going to ask you first. This is pretty much an open and shut decision at this point. Is there any way that John Cooey, do you think, would not get the death penalty?
Boy, Alex, I would be shocked if he receives any penalty other than the death penalty. He's the poster child for imposition of the death penalty. Man, here you have this little girl. She was raped. She was buried alive. I think when she was found in a trash bag, she was trying valiantly to escape. I mean, it is such a horrific crime. I can't imagine any reason that a jury would not impose the death penalty.
Yeah, and Jonna, I'm going to ask you this next question merely as a defense attorney, not as a human being, huh? Because if you're the defense attorney in this case, what are you going to do right now to spare John Cooey from getting the death penalty?
You know, there's only one option, because frankly, as a criminal defense attorney, as a human being, I hope he loses. But here's what you got to do. The defense attorney is going to have to try to show that Cooey is mentally retarded, because if he can do that, even if the jury comes back with a death sentence, the Supreme Court or the appellate court will not allow it to stand, because we cannot put to death the mentally retarded in this country.
So, Paul, we've got the penalty phase that starts on Tuesday. So what's the prosecution going to be doing during this part of the trial?
Well, you see a little bit of shift in tactics during this penalty phase, because whereas before it was proving that he was guilty, now it's demonstrating the suffering of the victim and the impact on the family. So I think you're going to see a lot of repeat of what happened in the penalty phase, because it was a brutal crime. You're going to hear how the crime was committed, how she suffered, and how it affected the family. It's really going to be a heart-rendering section of the trial, and tough to experience for everybody.
So, Jonna, you're a defense attorney, and you're sitting there across the table from the prosecution. You're listening to all this, and how does a defense attorney gather the muster, gather the steam, gather the momentum to put on a good, strong case?
Yeah, in this case, it is really going to be tough. And the defense attorney's already put on his case in the sense that, do you remember way back when the trial began, they allowed Cooey to sit at the defense counsel's table and doodle. It's what we call the doodle defense, trying to set up in the eyes of the jurors, because he didn't testify, that there's something wrong with him. And if there is enough mentally wrong with him, legally, as a matter of law, he cannot be put to death.
But really quickly, Nick's telling me we got to go, but this is a person, if I'm not mistaken, reports have been saying that he wasn't all this, quote, mentally retarded at the beginning, right? That this might have been a strategic ploy?
Absolutely. It could have been a strategic ploy by the defense counsel, just so that the jury can see that he is not exactly all there, because the facts of this crime are just horrific.
And you know, Alex, the jury is not going to buy into a mental retardation defense. This crime is so horrific that he will get the death penalty unless something bizarre happens that we cannot anticipate during the penalty phase.
Interesting. I got to tell you, even those people I've spoken to who aren't in favor of the death penalty on this one, they're kind of like, not on this one.
Let's change the rule on this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, Paul, Jonna, thanks so much. We'll see you again next hour. More to come.